Yes, we start. It was my second year at boarding school, and I was sitting on platform number 8 at Amalaba station, waiting for the northbound train. I think I was about 12 at that time. My parents considered me too old enough to travel alone, and I had arrived by bus at Ambala early in the evening. Now there was a wait till midnight before my train arrived. Most of the time I had been passing up and down the platform, browsing at the bookstall or feeding broken biscuits to stray dogs. Train camps and went, and the platform would be quiet for a while, and then when a train arrived, it would be an inferno of having shouting, addicted human bodies. As the carriage door opened, a tide of people would sweep down upon the nervously little ticket collector at the gate, and every time this happened, I would be catched in the rush and swept outside the station. Now tired of this game and of ambling about the outside the station, now I tried this platform. I sat down on my suitcase and gazed dismally across the railway track. Trolley rolled past me, and I was conscious of the cries of the various windows. The men who sold curds and lemon, the sweetmeat seller, the newspaper boy, but I had lost interest in all that went on along the busy platform and continued to stare across the railway tracks, feeling bored and a little lonely. Are you alone? Are you all alone? My son asked a soft voice close behind me. I looked up and saw a woman standing near me. She was leaning over, and I saw a play face and dark-eyed eyes. She wore no jewels and was dressed very simple in a white sari. Yes, I am going to school, I said, and stood up respectfully. She seemed poor, but there was a dignity about her that commanded respect. So we now go in next page. Okay, let's we start second page. I have been watching you for some time, she said. Did not your parents come to see you off? I don't live here, I said. I had to change trains. Anyway, I can travel alone. I am sure you can, she said, and I liked her for saying that. And I also liked her for the simplicity of her dress, and for her deep, soft voice, and the sense of her face. Tell me, what is your name? She asked. Arun, I said. And how long do you have to wait for your train? About an hour. I think it comes at 12 o'clock. Then come with me and have something to eat. I was going to refuse out of shins and suspicions, but she took me by the hand, and then I felt it would be silly to put my hand away. She told a while to look after my suitcase, and then she led me away down the platform. Her hand was gently, and she held mine, neither too firmly nor too lightly. I looked up at her again. She was not young, and she was not old. She must have been over 30, but had she been 50, I think she would have looked up much the same. She took me into the station dining room, ordered tea and samosas and jalebis, and at once I began to take new interest in this kind of woman. The strange encounter had little effect on my appetite. I was a hungry schoolboy, and I ate as much as I could as polite a manner. Then, as possibly, she took obvious pleasure in watching me eat, and I think it was the food that strengthened the bond between us and cemented our friendship. For under the influence of the tea and sweets, I began to take quite freely. I told her about my school, my friends, my likes and dislikes. She questioned me quietly from time to time, but preferred listening. She drew me out very well, and I had soon forgotten that we were stranger. But she did not ask me about my family or where I lived, and I did not ask her where she lived. I accept her for what she had begun to. So I go in next. Now we come in next page. Me, a quiet, kind and gentle woman who gave sweets to a lonely boy on a railway platform. After about half an hour, we left the dining room and began walking back along the platform. An engine was shutting up and down beside platform number 8, and as it approached, a boy leaped off the platform and ran across the rails, taking a shortcut to the next platform. He was at a safe distance from the engine, and there was no danger unless at a safe distance. Then he had fallen, but as he leaped across the rails, the woman clutched my arm. Her finger dug into my flesh, and I winced with pain. I catched her fingers and looked up at her, and I saw a spasm of pain and fear and sadness pass across her face. She watched the boy as he climbed into other platform, and it was not until he had disappeared in the crowd other platform, and it was that she relaxed her hold on my arm. She smiled at me resignedly and took my hand again, but her fingers trembled against mine. He was all right, I said, feeling that I was she who needed reassurance. Okay, now we read next page, means fourth page. She smiled gratefully at me and pressed my hand. We walked together in silence until we reached the place where I had left my suitcase. One of my school fellows, Satish, a boy of about my age, had turned up with his mother. Hello Arun, he called. The train's coming in late as usual. Did not know we have a new headmaster this year. We shook hand, and then he turned to his mother and said, "This is Arun, mother. He is one of my friend and the best bowler in the class." Then I am glad to know that she said this mother, a large imposing woman who wore spectacles. She looked at the woman who led my hand and said, "And I suppose you're Arun, mother." I opened my mouth to make some explanation, but before I could say anything, the woman replied, "Yes, I am Arun, mother." I was unable to speak a word. I looked quickly up at the woman, but she did not appear to be at all embarrassed and was smiling at Satish's mother. Satish's mother said, "It's such a nuisance having to wait for the train right in the middle of the night, but one cannot let the child wait here alone. Anything can happen to a boy at a big station like this. There are so many suspicious characters hanging about this day. One has to be careful of strangers." "Arun can travel alone, though," said the woman beside me, and somehow I felt grateful to her for saying that. I had already forgiven her for lying, and besides I had taken an instinctive dislike to Sati's mother. Well, be very careful, Arjun, said Sati's mother, looking sternly at me. Though her spectacles, be very careful when your mother is not with you, and never talk to stranger. I looked from Sati's mother to the woman who had given me tea and sweets, and then back at Sati's mother. I like strange, I said. Sati's mother, definitely stranger a little, as obviously she was not used to being contrary. Now we learn 5th page. Next we start 5th page. My small boys, there you are, you see, if you don't watch over them all the time, they walk straight into trouble. Always listen to what your mother tells you, she said, wagging a fat little finger at me, and never talk to strangers. I glared resentfully at her and moved closer to the woman who had befriended me. Satish was standing behind his mother, grinning at me and delighting in my clash with his mother. Apparent he was on my side. The station bell changed, clanged, and the people who had till now been squatting residently on the platform began bustling about. Here it comes, shouted Satish as the engine whistle shrieked and the front lights played over the rails. The train moved slowly into the station, the engine hissing and sending out waves of steam. As it comes to a stop, Satish jumped on the footboard of a light compartment and shouted, "Come on, Arun, this one empty," and I picked up my suitcase and made a dash for the open door. We placed ourselves at the open door windows, and the two women stood outside on the platform, talking up to us. Satish's mother did most of the talking. "Now, don't jump on and off moving trains as you did just now," she said, "and don't stick your head out of the window, and don't eat any rubbish on the way." She allowed me to share benefit of her advice, as she probably did not think my mother a very capital person. She handed Satish bag of fruit, a cricket bat, and a big box of chocolates, and told him to share the food with me. Then she stood back from the window to watch how my mother behaved. I was smarting under the patronizing tone of Sati's mother, who obviously taught mine a very poor family, and I did not intend giving the other woman away. I let her take my hand in her, but I could think of nothing to say. I was conscious of Sati's mother. Now I read page 6. This is the last page of the woman on platform 8. Starting at us with hard big eye, and I found myself hating her with a firm, unreasoned hate. The guard walked up the platform, blowing his whistle for the train to leave. I looked straight into the eyes of the woman who held my hand, and she smiled in a gently understanding way. I leaned out of the window then and put my lips to her cheeks and kissed her. The carriage jolted forward and she drew her hand away. "Goodbye, mother," said Satish. As the train began to move slowly out of the station, Satish and his mother waved to each other. "Goodbye," I said to the other woman. "Goodbye, mother." I did not wave or shout, but sat still in front of the window, gazing at the woman on platform. Satish's mother was talking to her, but she did not appear to be listening. She was looking at me as she turned, looked me away. She stood there on the busy platform, a plain sweet woman in white, and I watched her until she was lost in the milling crowd. I hope you like this story. So please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.